guys.
Hi.
So this is a very exciting video for us because we have been preparing and planning this video for 13 years now.
13?
Yeah, because I looked at the video that we shot in Tajikistan from 2007. That was originally when I had this plan that I wanted to show the world about Tajik women's fashion. Because we should say, you're from Tajikistan.
Yes.
And we've created this list of ideas together based on what we've noticed and what we've seen.
Noticed.
What I noticed, but you're confirming that,
yes.
And obviously you're going to be giving some expert background commentary on what we're noticing about Tajik fashion. Some of this stuff has changed in the last 10, 13 years, but the general ideas are still going to be similar. And in order to make this interesting for the YouTube viewers, we're making it like a top 10 list. The 10 interesting things about. Okay, so
Number one.
Number one is types of characters. We originally shot most of this film just out in downtown Dushanbe, which is the capital city, in the markets, and it was interesting because I was noticing the aspects of fashion, and you were noticing and pointing right away to, oh, that's a villager, that's a Russian, that's a city girl. And it was interesting to me after we watched the video and you pointed out to me, I could say, oh, okay, I see the point. But I think this is quite interesting as we're watching these videos happening behind us here with the magic of green screen. But yeah, we're showing a few of these different types, and we could maybe just discuss. So when you see a person on the street in Dushanbe or a woman on the street, what about her fashion shows you that, oh, that's a village person? She's come in from the village.
Well, it's the fabric that her dress is made of and the style it's made of, and just
one thing.
The style
we'll
and
know
the
what
cost, the what do you call it? The quality of the fabric.
Well, no, but I think a few things. One specific thing is for sure they're wearing a kurta. The villagers wear kurta, and maybe this is the point to talk about. What is this kurta? This is the traditional woman's costume for Tajikistan. So the kurta, the national costume, the national dress, but it's not just put on for Independence Day. This is really what a lot of people wear every day.
Yes, all
the women wear every day. And that's, maybe that's also kind of an interesting side point is that the men are quite free and they can wear basically whatever they want. You'll see men in jeans, t-shirt, suit, but there isn't really, there is a national dress for the men, but you only see old men wearing it.
Yes, that's right. And also, I think during the weddings.
But again, they're putting it on as a costume, not as a piece of clothing. Yeah. But coming back to that point, so the kurta, it's the national costume for women, and it's still commonly worn as the everyday clothes.
Absolutely.
And we're seeing a lot of examples of it in the background here. But if you could just very briefly describe what is this costume? How does it look?
It's how I would describe it.
Well, I guess the thing with it is that it's how to describe. Well,
it's a long T-shirt.
It's a very long shirt. Well, if you're familiar with Indian clothes, it's actually really, really similar to the shalwar kameez or perantan bon that men wear in Pakistan.
But we don't use that much fabric. Like for izor, which is the pants, we use very little fabric.
So it's a set of matching pants and very long. You could say it's either a dress or a very long shirt but coming way past the butt, usually way past the knee.
Yes.
So it's a long sort of a gown, kind of a formalist gown, like it's not tailored in tight.
Yeah, it depends. Like older women prefer not to.
So it can be actually quite baggy.
Yeah, baggy, but younger girls, they can make it more...
A little more tailored. But that's a little sexy or a little fancy.
Yes.
Okay. And coming back to these different styles, one of the interesting things, and I wanted to for sure show this one specific picture, because when you looked at it, you said, oh, there's a village girl coming into town.
Yes.
And we can see about her one thing, so she's got a head covering, so that's another interesting thing, is whether to show your hair or not, but she's got a scarf covering her head. But
very pink cheeks.
Very pink cheeks, and that's an interesting...
Very healthy girl.
A very healthy girl, but also, a villager. You can see the village people, and even like the village babushkas, they've got, the rosy cheeks because they're, I don't know, they're working physically working. But then you can see she's got the rosy cheeks, she's got a scarf on her head. Her kurta is nothing really high quality, just a typical
but it's
kurta.
new. You can see it's new. It's very clean.
A nice clean new kurta and earrings. She's put on some jewelry, and the other funny thing, she's carrying a jacket, a jean jacket. And I in the background we'll show some more examples of this. But to me, this was quite funny. Interesting is that you've got these girls, I'm interpreting it as these village girls, they're trying to be a bit modern, they're trying to be, look modern for this to come into the city. Yes. And so you've got this mix of they're maybe wearing a leather jacket or a jean jacket, but on top of a kurta.
Yes.
Yeah.
Instead of a sweater, like older ladies.
Right. And we can see in some of these other pictures, the sort of typical thing is you can wear the kurta, and then over top you'd wear like a padded vest or a sweater vest or something like that. Yes. We'll be saying, and we've also got, you're modeling for us a few of these sort of types of clothes, and that's coming on to this idea. We've talked about the kurta and the village sort of outfit, but then we want to talk about the city people. And so what do city women wear if they're not wearing this kurta?
So with city women, they can wear kurta, but you can see the design and fabric choice is a bit different. It's not so colorful, or it might be colorful, but the quality of the fabric is usually very good. So if you see some very expensive fabric on a woman, you would know that she's probably from the city or from the rich family.
Right. But then there is also this aspect of again saying, westernized, and it's an interesting thing to say, to what extent would we say that's westernized or Russianized or Russified? Because actually, you see, and we're seeing some examples behind us of, modern fashion for Tajik women, but it's not really something you would, in Canada, in America, you generally wouldn't see women dressing like this. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, because all our fashion choices, Western or Russified, they're influenced by the clothes that we can that are being sold in Tajikistan.
That are being imported.
So they come from China, Turkey, or Russia. So whatever is trending in those countries will be trending, in Tajikistan.
And we've got a few examples of you modeling for us these sort of Western, or let's say modern Tajik outfits, and generally, these are either made in Turkey.
Yes. If you want something more expensive and better quality, then you go to special boutiques where they sell Turkish clothes, the suits from Turkey.
Okay, so we're going to come on to
point number two.
Point number two, yes. So, and we've labeled this point just bling-bling. And again, this is something that I noticed as an outsider. When I kind of called it to your attention, you started to notice it. I guess originally it just seemed like, that's normal, but
it's absolutely normal.
but it is this idea for Tajik women's fashion, the shinier, the brighter, the more multicolored, the better.
Yeah.
And so you'll see people who are in fancy clothes, and to me it just looks like sort of too much, like lots of sequins. multicolored
beads,
yes. and getting a kurta like this with a lot of colorful fabric and colorful beadwork is
you need to know a very good tailor who can do it because the fabric usually that has lots of beads on it is expensive. So you're gonna pay more for the tailor, and usually you have to come up with some design that would work on that fabric.
Right. So again, this idea of bling-bling, just this sort of Tajik idea of make it shiny, make it glittery. That makes it better, makes it fancier. Yes. And we've even got this idea, we've got this example of you modeling for us this black outfit. I was thinking, because that's a Turkish one. Yes. But and in a way it looks just like sort of a modern business skirt and jacket, but we see all this shiny sequins sewn into it as well.
But it can be like you can go to a fancy dinner in that suit, or you can also go to a meeting.
like a work of fancy work outfit.
Yeah, fancy. It's fancy. Okay. The red one also has a lot of bling-bling. And it could be just a normal day outfit for some women. It wouldn't be like, wow, red, special occasion.
Yeah, and it's funny to me because it's such bright red that even just when we were trying to shoot this footage, it's like the camera is exploding with red. That the color just seems so red and so unnatural. But again, you're saying this is just a typical everyday outfit.
Yes. Some women would just wear it to work on casual day.
Sure.
It's not something special.
Nothing special. Okay. And so our point number 3 is about head covering and about whether that's, to what extent it's needed or not. And again, showing your hair, it's interesting because it's kind of not a big deal. In Tajikistan, women generally are not covering their hair. Right?
Especially if you're living in the city or even region. It depends on the family, how modern your family is.
Right.
But it's not something like you're required to do. The villager girls, they kind of have to cover because their parents insist on.
But the interesting thing, sorry to interrupt, the interesting thing to me is that it's not really an Islamic thing. It's more just a traditional thing where like, you'll see a lot of the older women have a head covering, but it's more to do with just because they're out working in the fields or just that's considered the dress to wear.
Yeah.
But it's not like in, for example, Malaysia or some of the Arabic countries where you have to fully cover your hair.
No. Sometimes it's a choice. Like sometimes women, like one day they decide that I want to wear a scarf. The next day she's not wearing a scarf. So it can be a point of fashion, or it can be just the place she's going to.
Right.
But if you're in the village, it's kind of it shows your modesty. Like if you're a modest girl, you have to cover your head and you have to cover most of your body as much as possible.
And I think we see that with the Tajik babushkas in the market and whatnot. Almost all of them will have the scarf on their head.
Yes, and covering their neck and.
And it's just, to me, it's interesting, and I think it's this point about, when I was working in Afghanistan, and the idea that, everything is relative, and how would you define something as sort of modern or Western? And I guess, for example, if you got on a plane from New York and flew to Dushanbe, you'd come out and go, oh my God, I'm in the Middle East, or I'm in, the Muslim world, and look how traditional everything is. But I actually experienced this myself, this kind of a reverse culture shock after a few months working in Afghanistan and traveling overland to come to visit you guys in Dushanbe. And the feeling after crossing the border from Afghanistan where women would not, they wouldn't look you in the eye, they never would show their hair, and you come across the border and you go, oh, I'm in the West again. So,
yes.
So it is all kind of relative. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so that's point 3. Point 4, it's just kind of a minor point, and we've already kind of mentioned it, is just this idea of the kurta has pants. So the national women's costume, women wear pants.
Yes, and actually the funny thing about it is that the top of the pants it can be any fabric. Just the
Right.
bottom, the bottom part that you can see has to be matching to the main dress, or just has to be out of good fabric.
But then no one would ever see the top of your pants. That's like your underwear. You don't show the top of your pants, so they're almost like pantyhose or like panties up on the top. Well, they're made out of not the same material.
Not the same. No, very cheap cotton.
To be more
Cotton
comfortable
fabric.
and cheaper.
Yes, yes.
So there you go. So pants. Are there any women's clothes in Tajikistan where the women actually aren't wearing pants?
Yes,
underneath?
if your dress is long enough, like very long to your ankle, or a bit higher than your ankle, you can wear just the dress without pants.
Because they can't see.
You can see.
Okay. Thing number 5 is slippers.
Okay. So
And I guess again, to me, this was something that when you see the Tajik woman in the very long kurta
yes.
and wearing, to me, literally looks like bathrobe slippers. Like, to me, that's what the
that's
woman.
the thing. They're not.
Right.
They're imported from China, and they're called irinki. They're very. They're kind of expensive, and women wear them as outside shoes. They're not slippers.
Although they look to me like, well, I guess that's the thing. They don't have a back.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, when you see these markets, it's kind of, to me, seems weird because your foot is really fully exposed, and a lot of the streets are not super tidy and clean. They're walking in kind of dirty areas with these little slippers on. Okay. So point number 6 is about bridal, the bridal costume, and we're including this because we were really lucky to get this footage of a customer at this fancy fabric shop.
Yeah.
And
so the wedding has like two stages. Like the first traditional one, that's where you can wear this type of clothes. You show how many dresses your mother made for you, how many dresses your future husband gave you as a present. So there is a variety of dresses, and you kind of have to show all your outfits to your guests. And that's when brides wear all this fancy embroidered clothes.
But we could say though that this shop and this woman trying this outfit on, this is kind of like the typical bridal costume, which would consist of, so it's got a very beautiful vest with. So I guess kurta can be anything, or it's sleeveless.
The vest is sleeveless.
A sleeveless vest with a lot of golden, embroidery and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the dress can change under it. You can keep the vest, or you can have a couple.
Yeah.
But the dress underneath would change every time you show.
Right.
So it has also a hat,
which will tend to be sort of matching, also with lots of gold
of beads hanging or feathers.
Right. and with the veil. The veil is sort of under the hat, so the veil and then the hat's holding the veil on.
No.
Oh, the veil's over.
Over that.
Okay.
Yes.
But again, the veil, so I guess that is kind of similar to the Western style, but it's different because it's just a big veil that's draped over your head.
Yes.
Okay, so is that 7?
7.
Okay, so point 7 is the fabrics used. Now there is a big variety of fabric, but again, when I initially saw the fabric in Tajikistan, my initial impression was, finding it quite different and quite funny, because it seems like the Tajik sensibility is as much pattern, as much color, as much difference as possible. You would very rarely see a kurta that's just a color, like monochrome.
Yeah.
It needs a pattern, and if it's got 10 colors, that's even better. And we're going to show a few of these videos that we took in the fabric shops, so you can see some examples of the fabrics they use.
Красивый материал?
Очень сильный, красивый. А продукции китайские или пакистанские или как?
Нет, это продукцию говорят, что многие продукции, это из Франции.
Франция?
Даже у нас эти есть, как его, вот, как вам показать? Сейчас я вам покажу. Сейчас.
Очень красивые.
У нас в каймах есть что производство какой страны?
То интереснее для меня же это из Франции, потому что я никогда не видел в Франции такие ткани.
Ну,
Только
не знаю.
здесь, в Душанбе.
Только в Душанбе, да? В Дубае тоже не видели, да?
Нет. Такие цветной, такие хорошие.
To me, this was really funny because the sales lady was saying, "Oh, it's made in France," and to me, it was like, I think it, yeah, and like, well, I don't think I see too many women's dresses made like that in France, but I think, you know, to me, honestly, it was looking more like that would be curtains or a couch or something. But here, no, that's great for a big, you know, for a big kurta.
They're very beautiful.
Very beautiful, and if it's shiny and colorful,
Even
it's
more
better.
beautiful.
Yeah. And so there is a wide range of all kinds of patterns, but there are a couple of patterns that are quite specifically the traditional Tajik patterns.
Because usually whatever is trending again, imported fabrics, they would change regularly every
Seasonally.
year. Every year you would have new patterns.
This
new
is
fabric.
the cool new fabric.
Yes, cool new thing. But
And as an outsider, you'd have no idea. You just go, it just
Yes.
looks like more of the same. But
yes, but the national traditional costume is usually made of atlas or adras.
and we can see in the shop, we saw plenty of examples of that. And when you're in Tajikistan on the street, you will see, hey, that's a sort of a common thing. So the atlas is the multicolored one.
Yes, multicolored.
But with the base of like black and white. It's a white fabric, but with lots of black, and then with some
Red,
blue,
green,
red, green,
Yes, this,
but tending to be in sort of a striped pattern or
yeah.
some kind of pattern, like, well, as you can see here. And then adras is a monochromatic,
More like two colors.
two colors, so white with something.
Yes.
Very often the patterns will be similar to the atlas,
Yes.
but with just
bigger,
a color.
but also like bigger pattern.
And this, to me, you know, this is one that to my own sensibility, I actually think, that does look nice.
Yeah.
And we've got some footage of you in your
Yes.
and
And it has to be dry cleaned. You can't wash it.
Okay.
And basically, every woman, every girl in Tajikistan must have dress from
adras.
Atlas or Atlas.
Okay, great. So that was number 7. And now we're coming to the last ones. To me, these last few, the most interesting or the most, I'll say weird. Obviously, for a Tajik, it's not weird, but from an outside perspective, the most sort of unusual or interesting
It's not
aspects.
weird. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. Well, so point number 8, and this, honestly, this is my favorite one, is point number 8 is twins. And I noticed this a few times, and it absolutely struck me as just, what the heck? And for you, absolutely normal. But this point, we've only got a very small bit of video because I was really looking, I got to find some twins. This idea of women walking along together and they're wearing exactly the same outfit.
Yeah, and you said, are they sisters? No, they don't have to be. It can be family members or it can be just friends. It can be 10 friends agreeing together. Let's all wear this fabric tomorrow.
But not even just let's wear it tomorrow, because they would have had to say, hey, let's all get these clothes made.
Yeah.
So they went and all bought the same fabric.
Well, that's how fashion works in Tajikistan. If someone wears something and other girls like it, everybody goes to the shop and buys similar fabrics.
And that's actually, it's a side point, but the other interesting thing is, in general, with these kurtas, women are not going to the shop and buying a kurta.
No.
They're going to the fabric shop, buying the fabric, and making the kurta.
Yes.
So either you're making it yourself at home, or there's some just local neighborhood lady.
Many tailors.
Lots of tailors.
Yes.
And you're not going to the clothing shop as such, you're just the fabric shop. So again, twins. And to me, it was very weird that you've got whole groups of friends all literally, in the same clothes. You know in the West that's almost the opposite. That if you went to a party and there was somebody in the same dress, they would go, oh no.
Yeah. No, for us it's
great. Look, we're all the same.
Team, yeah.
Okay. And now point 9. And again, this is maybe not This is not specific to Tajikistan, but for sure sort of South Asia in general. But the idea of a monobrow as central, and I think in some parts of India as well. I mean, I haven't been, but my understanding, a monobrow being considered quite beautiful.
Yes.
We saw it in Afghanistan as well. They liked it as well. So Central Asia, Afghanistan, so not having two distinct eyebrows, but having the eyebrow going right across your forehead.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes. And women paint. We buy special leaves. They called usma. Mm-hmm. And we not grind them because they're fresh. What do you call this?
Crush them up.
Crush them up and get the juice, and then you dip the Q-tip and you go.
Paint in your monobrow.
And your eyelashes. Well, it's considered to be healthy for your eyelashes and eyebrows, but also you can make a beautiful monobrow.
And we've got a couple examples, and it's even interesting because it goes hand in hand with the next point, the last point, number 10. Number 10. Point number 10 is gold teeth. And this used to be. And this is it was still happening when we took this video in 2007. It's for sure kind of gone out of style now, but in 2007 and for centuries prior to that.
That was the choice. If you want to have good quality teeth, you would again pay a lot of money to get gold teeth.
And it was considered beautiful because you're so powerful, rich, powerful, beautiful to have gold teeth. And
well, if you have teeth problem these days, you still have a choice to have golden teeth, but people prefer white ceramic.
I guess it's also just a technology thing.
And technology.
These days you can't get the white one. Yeah. Well, okay, you have an option, but it for sure is not considered some sign of great beauty to have a full mouth of gold teeth.
Not anymore.
Which is interesting to me because we've seen, we've got this video we've got of the, in a way she's quite the powerful businesswoman, and everything about her outfit is showing I'm important and rich. And from an outsider's perspective, you just look and say, wow, that's really kind of, it's very different, it's very unusual. But you can see she's got the shiny green outfit and the full mouth of gold teeth.
Yes.
To show that.
Not full mouth.
Well, we've got a bunch in the front, a bunch of gold teeth in the front. Yeah. Well, we've come through our list. That's the 10 interesting things. 10 things that I noticed, and that thank you so much for helping to keep us properly informed instead of just being an outsider. But 10 interesting different things about Tajik women and Tajik women's fashion.
Loved being your model.
Yes, and I loved. I'm so glad. The old video was all so small, so it's nice that we've got some very modern footage of you in these Tajik outfits as well.
Mm-hmm. Hope you found it interesting and informative, and please like and subscribe.
Exactly. Did we do a good enough job on this video?
You said I'm an expert, but actually you're the expert.
I'm not the. This is the other thing, and I don't. Part of the whole idea of making this YouTube channel is I'm trying to show things that I think are different and interesting in the different places I go, different cultures I see. This one, as I said, it's been 13 years. I shot that footage and thought, wow, this is interesting, this is different. I don't want to make it seem like, we're not pointing and laughing at these people. And of course, I'm saying it's different because I'm from Canada. For you, this is not different. This is just what it's like where you're from. And so if you're a Tajik woman watching this, I'm sorry, I'm not, I'm saying it's different, but it's different for me from Canada. I'd be really interested to hear, are these things about Tajik fashion, are there similarities, differences, or is it kind of the same as where you're from, or is it also for you quite a different and interesting thing, right? Yeah. But we're not trying to say these people are...
No, I wear those clothes.
Well, you don't have gold teeth and you don't put a monobrow on.
No, I don't, but again, I'm not living in those times.
You know, I don't think you'd see a lot of school, teenage girls in high school with a monobrow. Yeah?
Yes, you would, because it's something that people do as a family. All the girls get together and everybody paints their eyebrows and eyelashes from time to time.
And a monobrow is okay.
Yes. We don't know it's called monobrow.
Do you even have a name for it, or just you say, I'm doing my eyebrows?
I'm doing my eyebrows.
And of course,
of course you want to put some here.
Okay. Thanks for telling me about that. But the thing about cultural sensitivity is important. If you're sitting at home watching this, please don't think I'm not trying to other these people. I'm not trying to make it like, let's laugh at these people. It's just interesting. It's different. It's interesting.
You married one of these
Exactly, yes.